The 2021 Specialized Rockhopper Sport is without a doubt an entry-level mountain bike. Now this one here is my wife's, but I've taken it out on occasion, and while it's a touch too small for me, I still have a lot of fun on it. Now in its stock form, I've pretty quickly found its limits when navigating rougher terrain, but still it's got a lot of potential, and I think with a few key upgrades, we can really convert it into a truly capable hardtail mountain bike. So over the next several videos, we'll tackle one upgrade at a time and analyze the impact of each modification to hopefully give you guys a sense of which upgrades are the most valuable. Anyways, if this series sounds fun to you, be sure to subscribe to the channel and follow along as we push the limits of this bike through incremental upgrades. Alright, so here's the plan so far. The first thing is to convert the stock tubed tire wheel combo to a nice tubeless setup. Now if you're new to tubeless bike tires, the idea is that you eliminate the inner tube and instead the tire to rim interface is tightly sealed, and a latex-based liquid sealant floats around in the tire, which fills, clogs, and seals any minor leaks as you ride. It also allows you to run much lower pressures than with a traditional tubed setup, since pinch flats are essentially eliminated since there's no inner tube to pinch. Now the lower pressure also improves comfort as well as grip while on the trail, which is a big plus. Now in order to do this conversion, I got a pair of Hutchinson Kraken tubeless tires in 29 by 2.3. Also to support the conversion, I've got some Stan's tubeless tape, which is required to create that airtight seal on the rim, which is not tubeless ready from the factory. Now I've also got some Stan's sealant, which I use on all my bikes, as well as a pair of tubeless valves. The one issue here is that these stock rims are drilled for Schrader valves, which is a bit dated, and so I really want to convert these to the more modern Presta valve. Anyways, the full video on this conversion will probably be one of the first in the series, so be sure to check that out and see how it goes. Up next, and in my opinion an essential upgrade for any mountain bike, is a dropper seat post. A dropper seat post allows you to have the seat at the optimal height when pedaling and climbing, but then you can drop the seat out of the way when descending, which is really key as it allows you to freely move the bike around beneath you without the seat getting in the way. Now the Specialized Rockhopper here has internal routing for a dropper seat post in the frame, but none of the Rockhopper models in the lineup actually come with a dropper post. Now what I have here is the budget-friendly Ascend dropper seat post from the Chain Reaction Cycles in-house brand, Brand X. Now I know it sounds kind of lame, but the specs are good, it's internally routed, it's cable actuated with the included lever remote, and it was available in the right size. Now this is basically the cheapest option that offers all of these features, and the reviews are pretty decent. Now the details of sizing and installing this dropper post kind of warrant its own video, but certainly an essential upgrade. Now the thing about running a dropper post is that usually they're paired with bikes with a 1x drivetrain, since you kind of need the room on the handlebars for the dropper control lever. Now this Rockhopper is the Sport model, which actually came with a 2x drivetrain. So the plan is to actually convert this to a 1x drivetrain, which is pretty commonplace on most modern mountain bikes. Now at the same time, the bike also comes with the slightly outdated square taper bottom bracket, which kind of limits your crank options. And so in the process of converting this to 1x, I'm also going to be converting from square taper to the more modern Shimano Hollowtech 2 bottom bracket. So that'll be its own how-to video since there's kind of a process involved with that. And then the actual 1x drivetrain conversion will be its own standalone video. Now I've got the bottom bracket and the Shimano Diori M5100 cranks with the required narrow-wide 1x chainring all ready to go, but you'll notice that I don't actually have the 1x drivetrain here yet. This is because I'm planning to try out the budget-friendly but highly reviewed Box Components Prime 9 1x drivetrain. Now it's a really cool system that uses a 9-speed rear derailleur, but with the super wide 11 to 50 tooth cassette, with the idea being that the range is more important than the incremental jumps between gears. Now the question then becomes, is 9 gears enough, or will those larger jumps between the gears feel too drastic and awkward? I don't really know, but we'll certainly find out. Anyways, the problem is that box components are so popular, they've been sold out for what seems like months. So I'll be keeping my eye out for the next restock, and when I ultimately do get my hands on a Box Prime 9 system, I'll put up an install and review video as well. Now lastly, I've also got my favorite Raceface Chester platform pedals on deck here as a critical upgrade, as there's really just not enough grip with these molded plastic pins on these stock pedals. Also, the bearings on these stock pedals are already kind of loose, and I just think if we're going to do a full upgrade on this bike, then pedals are kind of a prerequisite. Now I've been a big fan of the Chester pedals for their price, their weight, and their quality, and I've been running them on my Santa Cruz Hightower pretty much since I got it, which was almost 3 years ago, and they're still going strong. Now this is a really easy upgrade, but an important one since it's one of only 3 touch points on the bike. Then of course the other upgrades to consider would be the brakes and the suspension fork. Now I know many of you would consider brakes to be a critical first upgrade, but actually these Tektro hydraulic brakes aren't too bad. And while they certainly lack the modulation and power of higher end brakes, they do a pretty decent job for now. Now, an upgraded suspension fork, on the other hand, would actually be really nice, since this stock SR Suntour fork is passable at best. Now, the main problem here is that the coil spring is pretty soft, and there's no rebound adjustment, so it feels kind of pogo-y down chunkier sections of trail. An air shock with a better compression adjustment and rebound damping would really round out this upgrade series. But the problem there is the cost. Now, if I'm going to claim that this is a budget upgrade series, it would be kind of ridiculous to upgrade to a fork that's nearly the cost of the entire bike. But anyways, I'll do some digging, and if I find a viable budget-friendly option, then maybe we'll include that in the series as well. Altogether, I'm pretty excited about starting this project, which is ultimately still my wife's bike, and will primarily be used as a kid hauler. Now, to be honest, I don't think she really cares about the upgrades at all, but I figure if I upgrade this bike and make it truly trail-worthy, then I can take it out once in a while on my local loop and enjoy it too. So really it's a cost-saving measure since I can ride this bike instead of buying myself a whole new hardtail. Sure, it's a little bit small for me, but I think it'll be fun to have a hardtail to whip around on when I don't feel like kitting up in road bibs, and when the full suspension Santa Cruz would be overkill. Anyways, I hope you follow along with this build series and maybe get some inspiration to upgrade or modify your own Rockhopper in the process. If you have any suggestions for budget-friendly upgrades, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below as well. Thanks again for watching, and thanks for subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.